stuff in my 31 insulated tote. I swore that if I ever got to be a mama, I would not be one of those obnoxious women who talks about my child all the time. And now I'm the liar. I'm going to try to only tell one story about Missy, because I know a few of you don't have kids, or maybe your neighbor's kids get on your last nerve. So I'm just going to go in estrogen overload for one story. But I do want to tell you a story that's relevant to what I'm talking about tonight that happened 2 years ago when I first started the process with Missy. I had lost a domestic adoption, and some friends who knew I wanted a child that didn't have a shot at a mama and a daddy, because evidently my eHarmony, there's something wrong with it. Keep being set up with men who don't speak English and live with their mothers. Not that there's anything wrong with that. Just haven't found my man yet. I would like a baby daddy, but I don't have one yet. Anyway, some friends knew that I was looking for a child that probably didn't have a shot at a mama and a daddy. And so when I lost this domestic adoption, they called and said, at least while we were in Haiti, one of the moms there died of AIDS, and they said her little girl is 2.5. They tested her, she's HIV positive, she has tuberculosis, and she will die in Haiti in the next 2 or 3 months if somebody in a first world country doesn't commit to adopt her. So they said, you know, no pressure, but would you pray about it? And I said, no, I won't pray about it. I've been praying about this for 30 years. So I said, I'd love to be your mama. And 6 weeks later, I was on a plane going to Haiti. And Susan, actually, Debbie, will you be an angel and hold my Bible for just a second? Okay, y'all should have picked up on that. I thought that was really smooth. Hey, Debbie, be an angel. Yeah. Y'all needed more caffeine. Anyway, my first visit with Missy, how many of y'all have been to Haiti before? Is it not the hottest place you've ever been in your whole stinking life? I mean, when I landed, it was 115 degrees. And so I told God, if he'd just give me an ice, I'd be a missionary in Africa. But I went down to the village where Missy grew up in, very, very primitive village, about 1,200 people, 6 toilets in the village for work. And I was with Missy for the first time, and she was 2.5 at the time, and I was just force-feeding her water because it was so hot, I was afraid she'd get dehydrated. And so after a couple of hours, I thought, I need to take her to the potty because I've given her at least a half a gallon of water at this point. So I said, baby, come here, come with Mama, we're gonna go to the potty. And she said, okay, Mama. Now, she didn't really understand that I was her mama yet. I was basically Santa Claus with wider hips. But every time I took her into the mission house, I gave her suckers. So she thought we were going to get another sucker. But when we walked past where my suitcase was and we started walking back to this mission restroom, she started getting really nervous. And she started to fuss a little bit. And I said, it's okay, baby, it's okay. Mama's just taking you to the potty. And I didn't know at that point she had never been to an indoor potty. And so I brought her in the restroom. To call this room a restroom is actually unkind to the word restroom. There was a toilet and a sink and a shower in this mission house, but they're all in the exact same pipe in the plumbing system. So what happens in the commode often happens as well as the shower. So it's more like Fear Factor than going to the bathroom. But I grew up, you know, going indoors to the restroom. I live in Tennessee now, so it's questionable, but most of the time I choose to go indoors to the restroom, so that's where I took my daughter, and I put her on the commode, and of course she's so tiny, and they didn't have those toddler rails, so I had to hold her to keep her from falling in. And I said, baby, it's okay, because she started to cry at this point. And I said, Mama, who's working the camera? If y'all shoot me from the waist down, I'm kicking somebody in the shin. Mom, are they doing it? Y'all will be scarred if somebody I said, Mama just wants you to pee. Now, forgive me for being crass, but pee is the exact same word in Creole as it is in English. Missy speaks Creole, I speak English, mostly we do charades, but she understood that. So she kind of stopped fussing, but she still looked confused, and I said, baby, that's all Mama wants you to do. I just want you to go pee in the potty. And the second time I said it, I saw this look of comprehension cross her little face, and I realized she understands what I want her to do, because she leaned forward and she did what toddlers do the world over. She furrowed her eyebrows. You know when they're trying to please you and they furrow their eyebrows? She furrowed her eyebrows, she leaned forward, I leaned forward, I'm holding her up, our foreheads were almost touching, and I thought, this is why they invented glue guns. This right here. This is why Michaels exist. I used to think scrapbookers were a cult, but I thought, I'm struggling with this. This is amazing. This is the first time that she's understood me, I've understood her, and this is like peace and spirits, we've got it, we're congruent, this is it. And right at the moment she was about to do that in the potty erupted. It shot of water straight up, Missy. It hit the ceiling, and all this, I'm going to call it unfiltered water, showered on Missy and myself, and Missy began to scream bloody murder. I pulled her off the erupting toilet. She had her hands in my hair. She was pulling my hair, just screaming bloody murder. Now, at this point, there's over a gallon of water on the tile floor. I'm in shorts and flip-flops because it's 115 degrees. And so I'm afraid I'm going to slip in this water and fall down and squash her. And I thought, they're never going to let me bring her home to America if I'm like, oh, sorry, I almost killed her in the bathroom. But what I'm saying to her, even though I'm afraid, what I'm saying to her the whole time is, baby, don't worry, Mama's got you. Mama's got you. It's okay, Mama's got you. And in like 10 seconds, even though I was still slipping and sliding, she believed me. And I knew she believed me because she took her hands out of my hair. She wrapped them around my neck. And then she put her, and don't you dare take your babies out. I am in just estrogen heaven, so you keep those babies. And for any of you who give a mama with a baby a dirty look, I pray you get hives. Take them to the restaurant. I love hearing babies in groups like this. I think that's one of the things that makes y'all so amazing, is that you love family. But she put her face right there, and at the time she weighed 23 pounds, and all 23 pounds just went. She's totally relaxed in my office, and I thought, this is the bomb. This is the very first time she has trusted me when she was afraid. Now, y'all, I know my little girl might be in pull-ups when she's 17 because she has such a phobia of potties. I don't care, really. I will be forever grateful for that broken toilet in Nepali, Haiti, because it's what sent my little girl careening into my arms for comfort the very first time. And don't y'all think that's often the case with us too? Even with grown women, so often it's the broken things in our lives, the broken chapters in our stories that send us careening to the people who love us well, or to the God who loves us perfectly for comfort. I want to talk about that briefly tonight.